I practice expressing my thoughts as much as possible, and I try to do this whenever I could.
Can you tell us about your Oxford mathematics interviews, please?
Right.
I remember being real nervous for my interview. I interviewed at Magdalene College, where I had 2 interviews, and actually I had 2 more interviews. One at Martin College and one at St. Hugh, which is where I am now. And during these 4 interviews, I saw many interesting questions. One really interesting question I saw was a question about cubes, and the number of varieties of cubes has, well, 3 dimension, 4 dimension, and ever higher dimension. And it didn't stop there. We also discussed how many edges there are in each dimension, and we tried to find formula for each one of these. I thought it was quite interesting. There were also very hard questions. One particular question I remember is, I was asked to sketch the normal distribution, which was like a belly curve, and I was asked to sketch its derivative by eye, and its derivative as well. So, two derivative. And that was easy enough. You just get it. And then she asked me, do I notice anything about the number of turning points and the number of reads as we go down? And then I noticed that as the different needs each time the number of reads and the number of turning points increased by 1, and then question was given to me. Can you prove that formula is true? And that was really difficult. I was really stumped at the beginning. And actually, I didn't know what to say.
Luckily for me, the interviewer, he gave me a prompt. He gave me a hint about some theorem that is really useful for this. I immediately managed to use this hint and then go on to answer the question. I thought I was really scary at first, but really rewarding at the end. I didn't get anything but my personal statement in the interview, which I thought it wasn't too strange. I suppose they thought it wasn't really interesting at the interview. I think that interviewers really like to see me struggle through the question because they want to see how I think. They want to see the pressures in which I go about the question. So they would really like giving me difficult questions so that I do struggle with it, and they will often give me hints to see if I can cooperate with them if I do attend the university. To prepare for the interviews, I kept that in mind. I practiced expressing my thought as much as possible. I did this by speaking out loud when I'm by myself, answering a math questions. I tried to do this whenever I could.
Tell us about your Oxford mathematics degree.
Well, I've also mentioned that I try to speak my thoughts as much as possible. Rather than that, I was really keen on solving math BMO questions, British Math Olympiad questions. I feel like that helped a lot with my problem-solving skills. It gave me a good intuition on how to solve questions. I think it made me a better problem solver all around. And I did mock interviews with my teachers, and they were quite kind enough and to do these sessions with me. They emphasized that I should be speaking my thoughts out as much as possible. Even when I was struggling to come up with my answer, they encouraged me time and time again to try to give suggestions as how to solve the problem. For example, maybe we can solve this by induction, even though you are not sure how you would do that, and so on. I did this thing quite often, and I did it about 2 times a week with my teachers, these mock interviews, and these other things I mentioned. I try to keep them on getting in the background as I prepare for my interviews.